So, good morning or good night, depending on where you are in the world. And welcome to a brand new episode of Is It That Bad, where we take a look at an album that maybe got mixed reviews. And for this week, we have a rap album, and not just any rap album. This rap album came out back in 2003 when the world asked, can a wrestler be a rapper? And we have Macho Man Randy Savage with his album Be a Man, his one and only record. So this is the album cover. Joining me today, I have Lorenzo The Professor and Rock of All Ages. So guys, what do you think of this album cover?
I mean, what can you say? Does he have a unibrow? I just noticed that.
Oh my God, yes, he's got like a brow.
I look at the chains and I think kinky.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it looks like early early what's that program you use to oh my God.
Was it like Microsoft Paint or Paint?
It looks exactly like something made in paint.
Yeah, and you know what's
Yeah,
funny?
I see that.
When you see the Be a Man logo, it looks like it would be like the logo to like a 80s movie like Demolition Man or Terminator, like the font that they used.
Probably Terminator, because that movie was made on such a small budget.
Yeah, from the first Terminator. And this came out in 2003. So this came out, had he already been in Spider-Man?
No.
Yeah, that was the year before.
Oh yeah, but I think he recorded this during or because he references it in a song. So
Yeah,
there's a song where he's Spider-Man. So I'm like, okay.
It was after, yeah.
It was after. So yeah. So yes, this is the album that we are discussing today. So this is his one and only album. And I say to that, boo-hoo. I'm like, why? So yes, so you know the drill, people. And today, since we're only three people, the rules have changed, and we speak more. This album has 14 tracks, 45 minutes, and I picked 6 tracks.
I mean, technically 13 because it has a short intro track.
It's okay. That's true. It's the intro track. It's 13 tracks, and the intro track, which is hilarious, by the way. That intro. So yeah. So you know the drill, people. We have the 3 rounds. On the first round, we will give our first impressions on when we listen to this. For me today. And then we will go, obviously, our first thoughts. Then we'll go round 2, where we, as like I said, we usually pick 3 or 4 songs. But on this one, since we're only people, let's pick as many songs as we want. Just let your heart tell you how many picks. And on the third round, we're going to give it a
2 thumbs way up.
How many thumbs down?
2 thumbs sideways or 2 thumbs down. I just tried to say that with a straight face.
I could see you trying, but your brain wouldn't let you.
There's some albums that I'm like, yeah, but I'm like, come on, dude. So yeah. This album. So a little backstory from this album. It came out in 2003. There's some people collaborating with him that I don't know why. And there's a diss track to Hulk Hogan.
The title track.
There's a diss track to Hulk Hogan. Apparently, they were fighting to see who could rip their shirts off better. And the last song is a tribute to another wrestler. I forgot the name of the wrestler.
Mr. Perfect. The song is called Perfect Friend.
Mr. Perfect Friend. So, yeah, apparently, I don't know the backstory because there's not much information on this album, but uh, the the music, the critics are I say mixed, but I don't think they're mixed at all.
No.
They're pretty well rounded in it's like everyone agreed that it's bad. Some people maybe said it was so bad it's good on that idea. So yes, this is a very interesting album, and since Lorenzo was the one who said we should do this, but apparently I saw Rockefeller just sent me there's a YouTuber that only talks about worst album ever, and he did a video on this. I'm like, oh my god! But it's like 1 hour him alone talking about this. I'm like, that's dedication.
How do you talk about this album for 1 hour straight?
Just one person. I don't know. I didn't see the video, but yeah,
I'm gonna have to watch that to see.
I'll have to watch it to see.
I mean, it's probably like 10 seconds of him reviewing the album and then 59 minutes of him doing, ooh, yeah.
Or you know what I was thinking of today's guy while I was working? I'm like, damn it. We should have all bought Slim Jims. But
I I thought about a bandana, but I had no bandanas in my house.
yeah, and I remember Slim Jeans tasting like shit.
Yeah, not my thing.
Yeah. It's like beef jerky or something. I'm like, ugh. So yeah, since Lorenzo was the one adamant, I'm like, we need to talk about the album. I'm like, so it will be Lorenzo, Rock of All Ages, and then me. So Lorenzo, give us your initial thoughts on BMX.
Well, okay, so first of all, context. I'm a huge wrestling fan. I was a very big wrestling fan in the 90s, and then it kind of tapered off during the 2000s, and then I kind of rediscovered it uh through the indie wrestling scene in the late 2000s, watching our Ring of Honor. If you're a wrestling fan, you'll know. But you know, I remember Macho Man being probably one of the most eccentric and charismatic characters I remember on TV. Because he was just like weird. He had weird mannerisms. He spoke weird. But somehow that translated and it worked, which is it's I don't know. It's one of those things about wrestling, because he could also go in the ring, unlike another wrestler who gets mentioned in this album. Macho Man actually could have like a very entertaining match, like he did in WrestleMania 3 against Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. But when we were doing the Steven Seagal, we were like, oh, we should do more. You had done already the Is It That Bad for what's the name of the actor, the Goonies actor?
Corey Feldman.
Corey Feldman. And we were like, we should do more. We should do more like people whose art or who are famous for something else doing albums. And I think we've actually done 4 now, because technically the Pretty Reckless counts, although that's an actually good one.
Yeah.
So it's something
that's in an entirely different league.
But it's still kind of somebody who got famous doing something else and then goes into music. Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, so we have to do Macho Man. He's doing a rap album. I don't ever remember listening to this whole album, but I do remember everybody getting, I didn't do it, wink wink, but I remember using Napster. Well, not me. I remember people using Napster to download this track, the title track, because it was a diss on Hulk Hogan, and everybody was like, whoa. But as you'll probably hear in the tracks, the rest of this album it's it's very terrible, but but basically that's why I told Hector that we had to do Macho Man, and also it's 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 weird seeing wrestlers. It's normal to see wrestlers do um movies because basically a wrestler is an actor
Yeah.
who has to do it live all the time. And in that era they had to do it not just live at a show, but they had to live their characters outside of the wrestling ring. People good the good guys would never mix with the bad guys because that would be breaking kayfabe, which is like, you know, the you know, the thing that would help keep the stories going. So it's you know, you would think that Macho Man would have done like a maybe a rock record because of his look, and he looks glam. He or not in this um not in this cover, but he usually dressed very like a glam metal rock singer. So, you know, doing a rap album was kind of
There
weird.
we have it.
Exactly. Yes, that's the Macho Man I remember, not the one with the chains.
Yeah.
That's a guy from my nightmares.
The Macho Man, like he was celebrating Pride Month before it was a thing.
Legend.
And
Yeah,
also, you know, we also have to say that obviously he passed away.
he did.
You know,
In
so
2011, right?
2011. So, you know, my all my respect to Macho Man when he was wrestling. Not so much on this album, but you know, as a wrestler, I used to love that guy. So, and we have a friend in common, Hector, who dressed as Macho Man for Halloween. So that's how much, you know, we were into this guy.
Who was that?
Chico.
Oh, Chico's
Wait,
wrestling.
not Chico. Fefi. You know Fefi, but we
Oh,
all went as wrestlers, like
yeah,
80s wrestlers.
yeah.
I did the Iron Sheik.
Oh, you. I was gonna tell you, you should have worn like a wrestling mask. That
So
would
that's my initial thoughts.
nice. So, what about you, Rock of All Ages?
While Lorenzo was talking, I could hear Lars Ulrich go, "Who said Napster?" Mm.
Yeah.
I will start by disclosing I generally don't watch sports. And by extension, I don't follow wrestling of any kind. I won't go as far as to say that professional wrestling is fake because the injuries are very much real. But, well, let me put it this way. We did Kiss earlier this year. They collaborated with the WWE on at least two occasions, which makes sense because, like Kiss, the WWE is more about branding than anything else, uh,
Yeah.
in my perspective.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, sure, it can still be entertaining, but there is such a thing as going too far. Like when John Cena made a rap album, which,
He did.
oh yeah, in
Oh
2005.
no. Yeah.
Add it to the list.
Yes, I knew you would do that. Uh, he was not the first, of course. Um, look at Macho Man Randy Savage and Hulk Hogan. They, I'm sure Lorenzo knows all of this already. They started out as partners and then became rivals.
The
Uh,
Mega Powers.
yeah, and Macho Man even blamed the end of his real life marriage to Miss Elizabeth on Hulk Hogan. And since we're talking about rap music, it reminds me of how Tupac and Biggie started out as friends, but a feud gets more attention than a friendship. However, Tupac and Biggie were good at rapping.
They were.
Yeah.
Macho Man and Hulk Hogan didn't become famous because they were good at rapping, and they didn't automatically become good at rapping just because they were good at something else first. But they both tried rapping anyway, and that's where things went too far. Having said that, I listened to both albums, and I can say with complete and total sincerity, just for the laughs,
Oh, okay.
I can say with complete and total sincerity that I enjoyed Hulk Hogan's album more,
Ooh.
but mainly because most of the vocals were performed by other more competent people. Like Hulk Hogan is on a surprisingly small amount of his own album.
Even
He knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
first his own album.
Yeah, except for the occasional feature, Macho Man does all of the vocals on his own album. And boy, if you want to hear a 50-year-old Randy Savage sound like a bad DMX knockoff, this is the album for you. Um, Before we move on, I have a little trivia fact to share. We mentioned he referenced his appearance in the Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
Um, So Bruce Campbell also had a cameo in that movie, and they shared a trailer. And according to Bruce Campbell, uh, Randy Savage and his girlfriend had such loud and violent sex that it sounded like wild animals fighting. I want everyone to remember that for the rest of the episode.
I would imagine him like, oh yeah. So good first initial thoughts. So for me, like Lorenzo, when I was growing up, I did watch wrestling for fun. I knew it was like it's like a wrestling. You say sport. I call it a soap opera for men.
That is
Yep.
accurate.
There's a YouTube video. I don't want to say too much. The guy who made it is a creeper, but the video is so good because it says that wrestling isn't wrestling. Is the name of the video. It's more close to Game of Thrones than to sports, than to NBA or UFC.
Yeah, it's all acting. You got like bigger than life characters, and like Macho Man to me stood out because when I think of him, he was almost like a living cartoon character come to life. Like he was crazy, he was flamboyant, and I do remember Hulk Hogan a lot, but he was more flamboyant than Hulk Hogan. He was like all over the place, and I remember, he was very flamboyant because you have guys like the Undertaker, who's all the way in black. So the ones that I remember the most as Hulk Hogan, the Undertaker, Macho Man Savage, and for some reason Jake the Snake Roberts.
No, Jake the Snake was cool.
Yeah, he had a snake. Why?
Yeah.
I don't fucking know, but he had a snake. So yeah, it does bring me to my childhood. And I remember that he appeared in the Spider-Man movie, but I had no idea that he put out a rap album because back in 2003, I was listening to good music. I wasn't like listening to rap. So listening to this, my first initial thoughts is like, this is what DMX would sound like if he had no talent.
That's true.
Like 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 poor DMX. Rest in peace, thanks.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, but especially there's some songs like the party song that I'm like, this is ripping off like DMX almost to a T. Like I don't know if he has some of the same people who work on the choruses because it sounded like a bad knockoff. So I listened to this today, and don't I listened to it once. I'm like, I think once is like, I'm like, do I need to deep dive more into this? Fuck no. So I listened to this today. I did my notes and I messaged Lorenzo. I'm like, did you listen to it once? I'm like, yes. I think once is okay. But that we're talking about how many times did we listen, Rock of All Ages? How many times did you listen to this album?
Twice.
Okay.
Because he listened to the Hulk Hogan one. That's commitment, man.
Honestly, the Hulk Hogan one is like not even 30 minutes long.
Oh, thank God. So
this is a long 45 minutes.
Yeah.
So, different question. If Lorenzo, what would be your wrestling name?
Ooh.
I mean, it's El Professor. course. I'm a lucha
Ooh.
guy.
To
I,
people,
I would wear a mask and then have like a, like one of those pointer thingies and just hit people with the. I would be a heel professor.
yeah, you'll grade their performance at the end.
And
Oh, that would be good. Have like A, B, everybody gets
I
Fs.
I will be the superintendent.
Yeah. So what would be your Rockefeller? Just what would be your slogan?
Um, no school funding for you.
Uh, and I guess I would be like the dude from about. I would just wear like a robe and maybe like be like all lazy.
that would be funny, actually.
Yeah, yeah. Like I dressed like that once for a Halloween, and I bought a robe. This is a true story for people who have never seen my series, Chilling with a Book. Maybe the series that less people give a fuck. Before I post like Chilling with a Book every 8 months. I have like four because people didn't care. And the first episode, I remember, I'm like, I'm gonna do it in a share, and I bought myself a robe, and so I found my new ASMR video. But yeah, that robe, that would be like for that. But yeah, but that would be my wrestling. So now let's go to round two, where we're gonna pick as many songs as we like. So look,
Oh yeah, brother.
take it away, Lorenzo. Oh yeah.
Ooh, yeah. I was actually surprised that it took Macho Man like at least until the fourth song to come up with an actual ooh yeah. Um then there was another song that was like all ooh yes. It was like, oh my god, I get it. It's your trademark, but you don't have to do it every single time. You're sounding a lot like James Hetfield.
Jay Hetfield is yeah.
I know, but he does it every time too.
That's the second time we mentioned Metallica in this episode.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Hmm.
Maybe I'll see if I can get in another reference.
Kirk Hammett,
Um,
get in here.
but you could pick any of these songs. I think the ones you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna pick the ones I hated the least.
That's a good one.
Because you could talk about the crappy production values and the shit lyrics and the the wanna be seen as a tough guy but don't actually curse and just say butt all the time.
Oh yeah.
Kicking butt. He says kicking butt like 50 times in this
Yeah.
album. So I like that this song. I don't like it. I hate it the least. The Be a Man song, it was funny, because it feels in character. It feels like something he would have done for a feud with Hulk Hogan during their prime. The rest of this sounds like generic Fruity Loops. Me messing around with Fruity Loops in the 2003 um beats. It's all pretty standard, pretty bad. It's like an amalgamation of all the 90s rap's worst elements and done worse. So, and there's I liked, for example, when I liked something, it was because it sounded different. Like Remember Me, he changes the style, he changes the cadence, and so it sounded better than the rest of the same. It was all samey. So those two songs are probably the ones I did not hate as much as the other ones, because everything else, this is like a desert. You know, it's barren, barren of good beats and barren of good lyrics.
Yeah,
Though I don't think there was a single lyric that I wrote down. Like, oh, this sounds cool. Nope.
but it's funny that I just realized, yeah, there's no cursing here.
No. He talks a lot about kicking butt, and he's like, how can I take you seriously doing a rap album talking about kicking butt?
Bro, he wanted kids to buy his album.
You know, an album, you know, but he all most of the other songs are about, you know, him with hookers and partying with with women. And
Did he say they were hookers?
no, he
I
did
guess he
not
doesn't
say
say
it, but
explicitly.
yeah, no, he doesn't say it, but you know, I think it's implied.
They weren't hookers, Lorenzo. They were ladies of the.
But you know, I mean, it also, I hated that they did this, you know, oh, we're doing a rap album in the early 2000s, so we have to, you know, are you ready, you know?
Ah,
And you know, you have to do the macho thang. It's ridiculous. So, you know, I think I can say about most of the songs that the beats are not catchy. There's no hooks that are catchy. You know, when you're doing like a good rap album, you need verses that actually sting. You know, that if you're doing, like, if you're trying to make yourself seem like you're the strongest and you're the best, and you're, because this is what it is, you know, it's like a masturbatory dream,
hmm.
or nightmare. um this is like self gratification at its worst. um but you know, there's nothing that, you know, you go like, oh man, he really, you know, hit that verse well. But and then there's this sound to his voice that it's just not good. It's like an echoey thing, that where he sounds like double, like it's double, like he's they're doubling his voice, and it just sounds terrible. But you know, all these songs are crap. Let's Get It On is crap. Hit the Floor is crap. Are You Ready is crap. Macho Tang is crap. You know, I actually was writing my thoughts on each of the songs. When I got to Be a Man, I just stopped writing. I was like, it's not worth it.
I would have given up way sooner.
My notes are very simple for this one.
No, dude,
Same.
this is.
Oh, but that's almost like
Oh, you
I
guys like actually like write these down on paper? I just write my notes on my phone.
I'm like, I like doing it on paper.
yeah. I like doing. I'm old school too. I like to put them.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah. So that's a good analysis, Professor. So what about you, Rockefeller?
Uh, this might be a hot take. It's not a good song, but I think Hit the Floor might be the best song on the album.
Okay.
Hmm.
Is that the one like DMX or like a
I
party?
think it's probably because most of the song or the good bits are by DJ Cool, and he sounds terrible in comparison. You know, when you compare them, but
It's
DJ,
like the Hulk Hogan thing where like he's on a small amount of his own record.
yeah, yeah, I get that. I understand that.
Yeah. Um, and you know, I could pick like half of this album in this segment since Hector said, you know, go nuts. Uh, I'm gonna say Remember Me sounds like a bad Dr. Dre beat. Um, and then I think the worst song on the album is Feel the Madness. The chorus is awful.
No.
And then Are You Ready and Macho Thing were also terrible. That was my bottom three. And the bottom five is Tear It Up and Get Back, which is thankfully not a Beatles cover. Perfect Friend was also really bad. Like
Oh yeah.
it's a tribute to, I guess, someone who died in real life.
Yeah, yeah.
Like the lyrics are awful on that one.
Yeah,
Um,
if I was him, I would have said like, no, man, don't write anything about me.
You know, Kurt Hennig, he was I think he, from what I've read and listened to, he was pretty well liked by the locker room. He used to be the guy who they call it ribbon. Ribbon, Ribbing, which is like trying to make people laugh and break character during like matches.
mm,
So he would like joke around and do like practical jokes on people. So but this is not a good tribute to him.
no, no. Um, kind of adding to Hector's point, someone should have told him no, just broadly.
Like
Yeah, just no.
let rest.
Yeah. So those are my songs.
Nice. So yeah, so I have one different that no one has mentioned, but I need to talk about this song. What's that all about?
Yes.
Getting romantic. I'm sorry. When I think of Macho Man, I don't think of romance. Like, ooh, I'm gonna take you. Jim. And then the song is like, oh, you love me now, but now you don't love me. What's that all about? And he's trying to be all like romantic and like, because back in the 2000s, every rapper had like a ballad. I don't know why I thought of like Nelly, that Nelly song with
Oh, Dilemma.
with Kelly.
Oh yeah, dilemma.
That no matter what I do, something.
I mean, LL Cool J had already been doing that for a while.
Oh yeah, he had that song. So, but his voice and his persona does not go with romance.
No.
So it's an epic fail of a track. It's almost laughable. So I think that one Macho Thing, I just wrote is just cringe. Like, and I thought he was gonna go like what, like James Brown or something. Very bad. I'm back. That was atrocious because I think that starts after the intro, and I gotta mention the intro. There's a part in the intro, this girl's like, Macho Man, he's so sexy. I'm like, well,
I think it was like 50 when this album came out.
yes, and like he was a good wrestler, but I don't think he won like most attractive man of the year or anything of the sort. But yeah, it's just so hilarious. And the other one I put I put My Perfect Friend because I just think this is what I would have said to him, like Randy. The sentiment is nice. The song is crap. It's like no, it's like you going like your friend dies and you do like the worst eulogy ever, and you tell the worst stories at the worst time. Like I remember when we did blow or something like that, and then like, oh no, his mother is here. But
He died of an overdose. Don't say that. Don't do that.
But yes, this album, it's the beats. Like I agree with Lorenzo. The beats are like every bad cliche from bad '90s rap put into one album. He's like he took the worst of the worst and he put it into one album. And yeah, it's just a very weird album. So now we're going to the third and final round where uh, we vote uh, thumbs down. thumbs up, thumbs up, or thumbs down. So, Lorenzo, your final thoughts on Be a Man.
So, from everything I've heard and read about Randy Savage, or I think his name was Randy Poffo. Um, um, he was pretty well liked. He was a very hard worker. Um, so it saddens me to see him in this way. Um, I've always, like I said, been always been a fan of him as a wrestler. In here, he compares himself to other two sport athletes, and he mentions Michael Jordan, and he's a lot like Michael Jordan. He was great in the ring and crap at his other job, which is rapping in this album. Michael Jordan could not play baseball,
He could
and Randy Savage could not rap. Um, I saw an interview. I read about an interview with his brother, and his brother was like, he actually he went into this trying so hard, and it's like, oof, if you're trying this hard and this is the product you're getting out, you should have just scrapped the whole idea. Um, and it feels like this when these aging athletes are trying to not be forgotten, because I know it's difficult for an athlete who's been in the eye of the public for so long, to suddenly not be the it person, to suddenly be forgotten. And you can tell that this is definitely, somebody who's struggling with, being, not being in the limelight anymore. If you see most of these songs, Remember Me, I'm Back,
not.
Are You Ready, Get Back. These are all songs, and most of the lyrics in this album are him. He has to remind you what he did, at some point.
I'm pretty
He
sure
don't
I'm Back and Remember Me were both Eminem songs.
he has a lot of lyrics where he's like, oh yeah, I'm the wrestling guy, and I'm like, if you have to do that, then there's something wrong. But like I said, this is an amalgamation of most of the bad cliches of 90s rap, put together in an album with terrible beats, and there's no strong lyricism here. His voice is not built for this. He has his cadence is not entertaining. His choruses are not entertaining. There's nothing about this album that's redeemable, except for if the song against the diss track against my Hulk Hogan was used as a promo in a wrestling show. That would have that would have been the only thing that could have been salvaged from this dumpster of a record. Um, but all respect to Macho Man for trying, because I wouldn't have tried. you know, and for what he did as a wrestler, because I love him as a wrestler. But this is just not good at all. Like if I had more arms and hands, there would be a lot more thumbs down.
Nice. So, what about you, Rock of All Ages? Your last thoughts?
As I said, I listened to this album twice. The first time I heard it, I thought it was hilarious. The second time I heard it, Macho Man's voice started getting on my nerves. If you want a good rap album from 2003 and you can't stand 50 Cent, then, I mean, you had Outkast and Jay-Z. Bubba Sparks also had an album that year. And for something a little less mainstream, there was Aesop Rock, Immortal Technique, Dizzy Rascal, and the two MF Doom projects from that year.
Ooh, yes, MF Doom.
Yeah, rest in peace to that guy, too. Suffice to say, a rap album by a professional wrestler is not worth taking seriously. Thumbs down.
Yeah. So, two thumbs down. My final thoughts is like, as a wrestler, and I have no problems with Macho Man as a wrestler. I thought he was entertaining, and I get that kudos to him for trying. Maybe this was his dream, but God, was this awful? Like it's just a mess of an album. He has no flow. I think he's competing with. Has any one of you heard of the average homeboy?
Who?
Nope.
Oh, there's this white dude who did a video called "The Average Homeboy." You gotta go get it. It's this white dude doing like this rap.
You might have to email us the link.
I'll look for it because it was this guy who tried to put out an album. So he sent this like song to people, and then it went viral as a YouTube clip. I'll look for the clip and I'll send it.
Oh, you know what? I think I might know the guy you're talking about.
Average homeboy. Like, yes. So Macho Man, he tried, and it's kind of endearing, but yeah, this album is a thumbs down. It's a very I don't know if this would categorize as maybe one of the worst rap albums of all time, but I'm pretty sure it's up there. Uh, I don't listen that much to rap. I listen to some rap, but I'm not a rap connoisseur. But I'm pretty sure it's one of the. It has to be in the top 5 worst rap albums of all time. Uh, if not one of the worst. So, yeah, and at that year you also had like you had your, I think were Cypress Hill and Bone Fox and Harmony still releasing stuff. I think so. There was stuff.
I can check really quick, but
Yeah,
I mean, just by default, those are better rap groups than
those were
Yeah.
the rap groups that I used to listen to was Cypress Hill, Bone Fox and Harmony. I listened to Eminem, Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, uh, JC, 50 Cent, Wu-Tang Clan.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think some Nas and stuff like that, but maybe some Tupac, but not, I'm not like a huge rap dude. So, but to me, if I had to mention my favorite rap like band or whatever, it's still Cypress Hill. But they did mix rock too at some point.
so neither of them released an album in 2003.
Okay, but yeah. So thank you, man. So yeah, everyone has voted, and yes, "Be a Man" by Randy Macho Savage is that bad.
Yes.
So since we've opened the floodgates with wrestlers, like we need to cover at some point John Cena, and you know who I just remembered did a rap album? Shaquille O'Neal.
Oh no.
He made 4.
Well, we'll have to pick one of his albums too at some point.
Yeah.
No.
Because Shaquille O'Neal did a rap album. He had a few rap albums, I remember. Because
He also did a few crap movies as well.
Yeah. I did watch a review of, I think it was his first rap album, and oh boy, there are some hilarious songs on there.
we'll probably do his first album.
He also did a crap video game.
He did a lot of
Yes.
crap. So yeah, that's sometime in the future. But coming up next for Is It That Bad? We're doing an episode for Genesis, for the app. I think it's AppCap.
Abacab.
AppCap, and that we're doing that with notes reviews. He hasn't been on he has been on 2 episodes, but he hasn't been in a year and a half. So we're gonna do that with notes reviews. We're gonna have also a friend of mine from Puerto Rico called Pepe Pesante, and Lorenzo and I will be on that one. So Rock of All Ages, we won't see you on that one.
I would have given that album a thumbs up.
That's why we need to have because I never listened to it, so I'll go with like
Never listened to it either.
But apparently, those reviews, he's got a channel that's really into prog. So I put Pepe in there because Pepe's a real prog guy. So I'm like, yeah, this would be a good panel. unbiased panel because you're already biased.
I've seen Phil Collins live.
You have been excluded from this one.
Aw.
But yeah, after that one, there's the Rockstar Supernova. I think you're gonna be on that one, Rockefeller.
I did get the Zoom link. I'm excited for that one.
Yeah, and maybe the new Buck Sherry.
Oh, hey. Jason Newsted was in Rockstar Supernova. So
He
that's
was.
4 Metallica references.
I know.
Oh, nice.
Oh, and Señorita Sabrosura has a recommendation album for us
Ooh.
that back. Unfortunately, she can't do it right now because she's going through some personal stuff.
Yeah.
So she won't be able to join. But she said the new Arcade Fire album has been getting mixed reviews.
Ooh, that would be a good one.
So that's another one that we could do soon. The Arcade Fire. I actually don't know much about that band, so that's another one that we could do. So
I know their first 3 albums were like everyone loved them, and then they kind of fell off.
yeah.
And their front man had like allegations.
Oh, okay, but I haven't heard. So we're gonna do next. We have Genesis, Rockstar Supernova, Buck Sherry, and we could do Arcade Fire. Those could be the next 4 episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So first of all, I want to thank my panel, Lorenzo the Professor. Thank you for making me listening to this album.
Yeah, I made everybody suffer, including me.
You know what? I tell you, tomorrow Spotify is gonna suggest me.
Oh, I couldn't find any other songs on YouTube. I was like, damn it. I usually listen.
I found a playlist on YouTube.
You
Oh.
did?
Yeah.
I didn't find any playlist that was complete. So I had to do it on Spotify. I'm like, I'm worried.
No, don't worry. You're not going to get an end of the year video by Randy Savage.
That would be
This is
weird.
Randy Savage for Beyond the Grave.
That would be scary.
And the music would be like he's in heaven, like, ooh, Lorenzo. You're in my 1%. Yeah, so no, I think you should be fine. You're not getting a video. So Lorenzo's gonna be on the next episode for Genesis, and so Rock of All Ages, you can subscribe to his channel. He's got a few things coming up. What have you got coming up, man?
Honestly, June's gonna be. I mean, I put out a video with JC Rock and Metal reviews at the start of the month, and then I have just like 2 other videos for the whole month. But yeah, they're videos I'm pretty happy with, and keep your eyes open for those.
Yeah, and if you like my content, subscribe, and also when this is up, if you want to listen to probably a very good album that's coming up this week, I will have a new Turnstile
Yay.
album review. Also,
Oh yeah, and Volbeat. Volbeat has a new album.
Oh yeah?
You're not a Volbeat fan?
I can't stand that band. They're like Elvis Presley meets Metallica wannabe. Another Metallica reference.
Oh, we're just rolling with these.
Yeah, no, I don't like Volbeat. But
I like some Volbeat albums.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of that band. And also, I'll be reviewing the new album by King Parrot. I also interviewed the singer. They're a grindcore Australian band.
Ooh.
And the album is pretty cool.
Good.
So those are 2 reviews for this weekend. King Parrot and Turnstile. So, Couchers, I want to thank you. The channel just recently passed the 2,000 mark. So
yes,
it's still growing. Apparently, you like me. You really like me. So thank you for the new couchers and everyone who supported the channel the last 3 years. So until next time, couchers, the sector, the shield dude on a couch, and we'll see you next time on another episode of Is It That Bad? Thanks.
Ooh, yeah.
Step into the